Good morning, good
Good
morning,
morning.
good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. I want to say, is it Asbaldi? Okay, Asbaldi. I want to get your name right. Rod Gritch. I guess that's how you sound. I apologize. I'm butchering your name. I apologize. Certainly not intentional, but good morning to you. Good to have you. This is the Morning Glow, and this is Way Out Wednesday. This is the day that we talk about, y'all. This is Way Out Wednesday. This is the day where we open up the phone lines and whatever you want to talk about, you can call in and talk about it in its entirety right here. DK Media Group and Associate would love to have your input. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from each and every one of you. But right now, I got to say good morning. We got two of the gentlemen on with us already. We got Badger. Good morning, Badger. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning.
Good deal, good deal. And Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. Hi.
Hey,
Hey.
good morning, Raheem. Glow family.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
I want to ask y'all a question. We're gonna get this thing started. Like I said, the phone lines are certainly open. Anybody want to talk about whatever they want to talk about, and please don't forget we do the roll call to the state roll call. So wherever you are, wherever you're listening or watching from, right in the text box, right in the text box, whatever box that you're watching on, and the state, the city, or the state that you're in. Because we want to do a roll call to find out who it is that's actually watching us this morning. So write in whatever city or state that you're in, write it in the box. We love to have that input, and we love to have you to help us and assist us in knowing what state we're talking to this morning. Okay, now, Mr. Hicks,
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you a question. You supposed to say yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Hicks.
I'm panicking. I'm panicking. Come
No, no,
on.
no, no. No, I want to ask you this question, and I want to hear your whole heart because Rico, and I'm waiting on him to come on as well. He sent me something the other day. He sent me a documentary. He
Hmm.
sent me a documentary the other day, and I sit down and I watched it. A lot of stuff I already knew, but just to see it again, kind of make you say, hmm. And so my question to you is this: how fair is not saying and I don't want anybody to get the idea that we're saying that we don't want men to pay child support. We do. We want them to do their equal part in taking care of the child that they help produce. We're not saying we're not giving them an out or anything. But my question is, how fair is the child support laws? And I say that because it was talking about one guy was talking about, man, he lost his job. He was current. He lost his job, got into the arrears. They locked him up, suspended his license, and then when he got out, he was so far in the rears when he got out that it was almost impossible for him to catch up. And so I'm asking the question: how fair is the child support laws?
Wow. Don't seem to be very fair. I never experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've listened and watched how it ravaged different things.
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing I can get to child support is divorce law. That's what I'm going through now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the laws are sort of vague in the sense that it could be applied in different kind of ways for people. You know, it's is it? I think the fact that it goes through government
Mm-hmm.
is the money that they make and administrate it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what fathers are contributing is not just going to the children; it's going to the agencies that and the salaries of the people working the program.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do think they need to be looked over again.
Because
I
my
got, I got Rico on the line. I'm gonna answer real fast.
okay, got you. And my thing is, man, I know, and I don't want anybody to get any idea or any thought in their head that we're trying to give a man a way out, or no, we're not doing that. Well, we're looking at the way that the law is set up, and the children should be and need to be taken care of. And everybody that has a part in making that child has a responsibility. So, no, gentlemen, men, whoever you are, young boys, whoever you are, you do not get a pass. You have to do your part. You have to take care of this child. That's a given. You have to, because the child did not actually be here. So this is a responsibility that you have. And so, yes, you should take care of your child. But I'm wondering about Badger. I'm wondering about the child support laws though, and how they're set up. Badger, do you think they're fair?
I think they're designed exactly the way they want them to be.
Okay, but are they fair?
Oh boy, that is situation dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some states are more prone to give the woman all of the rights to the child before really hearing a case.
Mm-hmm.
But um, getting to listen to my father-in-law's story of um, his divorce with my wife's mother.
Mm-hmm.
17 years of court battles.
Mm-hmm.
17 years uh, of him trying to win in the Texas court system. Is it fair? In that situation, no.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know of a guy that took his ex to court and won custody. How he did it, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can figure is he was able to prove that she was truly unfit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's a really hard question to answer without, and you got to make sure you're not personal
Mm-hmm.
because, the divorce that happened when I was a kid, my mother didn't show up to court and even try to fight for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the court tried to tell my dad, you can get child support from her. And he went, no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's better for her not to have anything to do with them.
I think I'm,
So,
I think I'm frozen over here, Badger. Keep talking. I'm gonna bring myself out and bring myself back in.
so, the experiences I've seen in multiple different perspectives, you can say it's not fair, but some people will say that it's fair
Mm-hmm.
based on how they are capable or was able to handle their situation. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it literally boils down to who the lawyer slash judge is.
Mm-hmm. And see, my thing, and one of the reasons why I say that it's not fair is you have so many different things that's going on in this child support thing. If a father were to get in a situation whereas he kind of fall behind a little bit, and not intentional, he want to take care of his child. He have all the desires in the world to take care of his child, but if he fall behind just a little bit, now they're gonna smack them arrears on him. When he get into the arrears, now they're gonna lock him up. They're gonna lock him up. He's going to jail. License is going to be suspended. All kind of different things. And while he's in jail,
Now,
the child support is not. Yes, the child support is not going to. If they get that bitch one on you, man, they're gonna suspend your license. Your driving license is gonna be
now,
suspended.
from my understanding on that part,
Mm-hmm.
is supposedly, and I don't know how to get access to them, there are programs for those situations.
Mm-hmm. Well, he would
But
have to
I
go
have no idea how they work.
bad, and I'm gonna tell you how they work. He would have to go to court. He would have, his license will be suspended, but he will have to go to court. And while he's in court, he can ask for some kind of thing leniency where they have it where he could just go to drive to work and back home. But as far as having his regular license as they are right now, before he had it's not gonna be like that.
Now,
But
I
like
do
I said,
think,
once he get in there and he pay up and stuff like that, and they clear him out, then he'll get his license back, regular license back. But until that time, They'll give him a license to drive to work and drive back home. But outside of that, he's not supposed to be driving. His license is suspended.
I mean,
Special regulations or something like that is what they call it. Special. I don't know what the technical term is, but that's what it is. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain, man. I'm just glad to see another beautiful new day, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was telling that you sent me that clip the other day about the child support, as I was watching that thing, man. There's a lot of stuff on there I knew, but it was just a thing that of seeing it again, and having it in your face again, man. It was like, wow. I'm asking the question: are the child support laws for men, are they just? Rico, what do you say to that?
They started out as being just and necessary, but they didn't, like all things, they know human psychology and behavior. They didn't put guidelines in place to make sure that it wasn't abused and used as a weapon, which eventually would it evolve to, because everything you come out with has a negative side that you have to prepare for, like the internet, like a car, like everything that we've invented, somehow it can be deviated. And so they left it wide open intentionally, knowing that, you know, with power, control, and access, you know, people are going to want more, because that's just the human nature. You know what I'm saying? How we behave. But see, the bigger problem, even beyond child support, is the alienation that comes from it. You know, when you have men that's paying child support, but the children are being kept from it. See, that was a little clip that I sent you. But I got a documentary that I got to send you, man, called Erasing Families. And it really shows you how not only child support, because of what you mentioned with the being locked up, but family courts altogether don't hold women accountable or make it, I won't say mandatory, for them to comply to court orders. And the fact that the behavior even exists, you know, where you have women using family courts once again as a weapon. Like, men don't have public defenders. Men don't have fathers advocates. And really and truly, what makes that sound bad is the fact that they look at it as fathers advocates, but it should be children's advocates. Because if you see this documentary that I send you, you're going to hear the children talking about all the things, and it ain't just women, it's going to be some men too. All the things that the custodial parent did that just traumatized them and completely warped their whole way of thinking, just to have advantage and to keep the other parent out of their life because they were being vindictive.
I think that's the one you sent me though,
because it gets deep, man. I mean, go ahead.
I think that's the one that that's the one that you sent me. Because I know they was in a barbershop. It was a couple of scenes where it was actually in a barbershop in South Carolina, different places like that. And I was looking at that as well. Ain't that the same one?
Yeah, that's the same one, man. And like I said, that's just one side of it, the child support. But the biggest thing was, did you see how devastated those parents and those children were that were punished to that woman? I mean, like I said, it's one thing. The financial end is one thing. The driver's license is one thing. But the long-term damage that is done to these children because of an uncooperative parent or a parent that's using the system to just completely do wrong, to be selfish and not even really think about how the child or the other parent feels or how important it is for that parent to be in their life. I mean, man, those are some good parents breaking down crying, but the children were even worse. Even the siblings had been divided because of that parent brainwashing. I mean, so you brought that up about the driver's license. Man, I'm gonna tell you how messed up this system is. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I get pulled over less when my license is suspended and I drive all across America. I get driver's license, man, and just get harassed, seem like. So, you know, I'm just sort of one of them defiant people, man. I'm different. And I got behind on child support. I was like, man, screw this system. You know, how that revolutionary mindset. I'm gonna live the way I want to live. I pay child support the way I want to do it. And I got my license suspended, and so I decided I wanted to try to get them back. The first time I called, they gave me an enormous amount of money that I needed to pay to get them reinstated. I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to save a little bit to get that. So then when I called back again, they gave me a little higher number. I was like, wait a minute, that increased, and I actually paid child support and an extra to get it cut down.
Mm-hmm.
So then I finally talked to this one brother. And I told him, I said, look, man, I'm trying to get my driver's license so I can get this stuff paid down, man. I said, I'm trying to go ahead and become a citizen. I'm trying to, comply. He said, how much can you pay right now? I told him what I could pay right now. It was no, he asked me, what could I pay a month? I said, well, I already been paying extra. He said, well, can you pay $20 more than that? I said, yeah. He said, okay, just sign the agreement that I send you and go and get your license.
Wow.
I said, what? He said, yeah, just go ahead and sign this agreement to pay this extra amount, and then you go in and get your license reinstated. I said, so you telling me I didn't have to pay a lump sum? He said, no. He said, that's really to our discretion. So those women before then chose to make me pay extra money or choose to be suspended, even though they knew I couldn't afford to pay that money.
They trying to stick it to you.
When they had the option to just let me agree to pay a little bit extra every month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the part I don't like about the system right there, because they have an opportunity to do something good by you, because it's sometimes, and I guess to their offense, sometimes it's hard to determine who is just blowing smoke and who is genuinely concerned and want to do the right thing. And so they try to stick it to everybody, but you can't just stick it to everybody. You can't, because not everybody have those same intentions. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, dear brothers. Sorry, I just now tuning in for the show, but I hope everybody had a beautiful, safe Labor Day weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Good to have you, sir. Definitely good to have you. We're talking this morning. This is Way Out Wednesday. So, telling where the conversation gonna go. We don't have a topic. We just, kind of talk about whatever we talk about on today. But right now we're talking about child support. And are the child support laws, are they just? And we're talking about how a lot of times, even if a man is won't have the right intentions, but he fall on hard times or whatever, and he get into arrears, how they would lock him up, suspend his driver's license, lock him up, then he get out, and now the amount that he was in arrears when he first get locked up, by the time he get out, it's almost double or triple. And now, he's fighting, trying to get himself back together. And so I'm asking, but let me say this, let me put this disclaimer out there as well. I said this earlier this morning as well. We're not in no kind of way at all saying that the man don't have a responsibility, because if he went out there and he had his part in making his child, that he have a responsibility to take care of this child as well. We're not trying to negate that, but we are saying is, though, if you get into a bad situation, are the laws just in how they handle the whole situation? What do you say to that, Captain?
Well, I think, dear brother, that we have allowed government to dictate what a grown man should have to do on his own. It's a shame that there are many circumstances that could justify the government doing what they're doing in terms of getting deadbeat dads to be responsible for their children, and therefore they have to come up with a law. And the law is not a perfect law. It's really not perfect. You can see that. Mm-hmm. How you take a man, take away his driver's license because he don't take care of child support, which he needs license in order to be able to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
How you think it's like school loans. You get education, but by the time you get your degree, you're in big time debt.
Mm-hmm.
And it just don't make sense. But I do believe that it's a shame that most of the women, or particularly I want to talk about, our women have to go to a system to get a grown man to take care of his responsibilities. Mm-hmm. However, all men don't need the government involvement. Sometimes the child gets shortchanged. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the child, I don't know about the law in other cities, but in Ohio, it's really crazy. But I do believe that it's unjust. I think it needs to be tweaked. To be honest with you, Brother Raheem, I really think there should be a second agency should be responsible to collect child support money. I don't think it should be just the government alone. I think there should be a private institution who does a better job in making sure not only the money that the men give for the child support, but the child really gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the mama getting the money, getting the nails done, and when the father sees the child, he sees the child who gotta go have some new shoes, knowing how my child don't have new shoes. I'm paying child support, you know. So I think a government needs to contract like you do the prisons. I think it needs to be privatized. I think there should be a second agency that deals with child support. I don't think the government. I think the government needs to get out the business and take people down because they make money with child support as well. You know, they make money. So that's my swing on it.
Good deal. And a lot of things, Mr. Hicks, I think that to our captain's point, and it's a great point that he made. I think that the women should have a responsibility to produce receipts. She said quarterly or whatever it is, you have to produce the receipts. What did you do with this money? Show me what you did with this money. Show me what you spent the money on. Show me how this money was used for the better. Even if it's helped with the rent or something like that, or help to buy food or shoes or clothes or schools, whatever it is, keep your receipts. Produce the receipts about what you did with this particular money. Mr. Hicks, what do you say to that? Should she have a certain accountability in this as well?
Yes, she should. I don't know if how the system works. Maybe it has something in there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, speaking from my heart, the last few days with me, I've been, I guess we'll say it, disillusioned.
Mm-hmm.
The more I learn about the web that we are as human beings trapped into, the power of this enemy of ours, and my belief system is that what the Bible says is, but how he's got everything locked up, that everything had the possibility of being corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I listened to I didn't call in yesterday, but I listened in on it, and it inspired me to the sense to recognize that as bad as things get, as bad as they are, and we really didn't have an idea what the future holds in terms of personal suffering. That every individual is given the ability to affect his situation with whatever institution or officer or situation. And I think it's about really having your spirit in a correct posture and to be able to radiate and expect the best of that situation. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it gave me some hope. I mean, politics, history, everything around us, what's going on around us, it had me overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even with my belief system. I find the podcast helps me feel like therapeutically. There is some hope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise God. To God be the glory, man. To God be the glory. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I've got a few different things on my mind this morning. Do you want me to hit more on this or throw something else out there?
Now let's stay on this right here for a minute or two.
So the whole, man, to me, this is absolutely one of those situations, like I was saying earlier, of it's going to depend on the judge and depend on the area you're in. And also who's handling it in a nutshell, I guess, because some people have a tendency to, especially in those positions, to let personal things influence their judgment. You know, Rico gave a really good example of that. One of the people he talked to was probably saw a bunch of bad things, and that they allowed that to skew to pass judgment onto everyone, thinking all males are the same. And then there are males that think all females are the same. So it's that there's so much going on, and in these situations, a human being needs to look at each situation separately.
Mm-hmm.
You can't group them all up as the same. Are there people out there taking advantage of it? Yes. Are there fathers having to deal with nonsense? Yes. Is there mothers that are dealing with it? And then people are going to want to talk about numbers and percentages and all this other stuff. Well, who did the numbers? Who's doing the percentages? You know, what college, what researchers, and so on and so on. You know, is this researcher going to say one thing and this researcher going to say another? So it's like a lot of things in life. There are going to be those that go through more trials than others.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's hard to speak in one direction on topics like this. The one thing that I could say, if we want to do a one-way thinking, is the laws are not specific enough.
Okay.
But I haven't done a lot of research into it, and there could be laws within that, if a person learns them, that could turn their whole situation around.
Mm-hmm.
Because from my understanding, you know, so there are times where there's like, here's these federal laws, but each state can do their alterations.
Mm-hmm.
So this state might be easier to fight for things, while this state's harder, and so on and so on.
Okay. Okay.
So
Good deal.
to me, it requires research and a willingness to fight.
Mm-hmm. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, when I was young, I was all for child support, man. My daddy exemplified what a deadbeat was when it come to quality time, money, attention, you name it. And we had a relationship. And he still was absent as a big dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my mama, I was like, Mama, I said, when I found out about this child support thing, I heard one of my friends say something about they mama get child support for them, and that's how they able to get their little shoes. I'm like, well, shoes. If that's the case, my mama should have been doing that, because every time you turn around, they ain't giving me this and that because it's my daddy time, but they know my daddy like to lie and ain't there. It's the way he's supposed to be. So I'm just doing without. I got to be set of beggars can't be choosy. So, Mama, why don't you get child support? Well, you know what? If I got to make a man take care of his child, I'd rather do without. But wait a minute, y'all making me do without too, so I did without. Then I ended up having to move in with my grandma, and she did without. And so I still did without. So I was all for it. So then that reasoning in 1993 or 1994 that they came up with it, I was all for it. But then all of a sudden, my baby mama got mad with me, and I got a knock on the door one day. Wait a minute, I've been taking care of you until you decided to move out 4 months ago. Now you want to sign up for welfare, and you get mad at me and put me on child support to teach me a lesson. I paid child support. You know, it was a good reason at first. I thought it was a good reason in 1990, whatever. But in 2022, it's a rhetoric. It ain't a good reason no more. Because I paid child support, and see, my way of being defiant and rebelling, because this conversation about them mismanaging the money, spending it on hair and nails and weave metal, there's been so many coming routines and arguments about that, ain't nothing happened. But it was still a whole other side of it that was being missed. Like we still missing. So guess what? I decided to comply, and I pay. Look, I'll pay that monkey more if she'll just let me be in his life and help him go through the things that he got to go through as he learns to be a young man and gotta survive in this thing called life. But see, I don't nobody know about all the child support I paid, and then getting a phone call, Daddy, can you come get me? Because Mama putting them out. You see, we talking about the money. That goes to show you really and truly where a person's heart is in my mind. I give her $1,000 a month. With my first baby mama, I went and took my kids from her and still paid her child support and told her just give me half of it, and she still didn't even do that. Low down. In the process, programming and brainwashing my boys against me and teaching them how to treat me as the opposition. Now, on that video you seen, there's a lot of mention about money. But did you hear what them children were saying, that they were being trained to go to court and lie on their parents? Or they were being told that their parents didn't want them no more, how they were crying because they think their parents didn't want them no more, or how they were being trained to go and dig through their mail to find evidence to use against them, and how the mama was getting this man fired all the time. So he couldn't pay child support because she was always trying to sabotage him. And she had trained his own daughter to do it. Did you see where the one girl said that she loved her dad so much, she still didn't go along with the flow, and they put her out at 14, but he had signed his rights away. She told him if he signed his rights away, she still would let him still be involved, but it would help save him some money. So he let money persuade him and trick him into going ahead and signing his rights away, and she manipulated him. Man, let me tell you something. Both of my baby mamas the same low-down monkeys.
Wow.
So that rhetoric about being necessary, yeah, it's a shame that program even exists. But now what's the biggest problem is the way it has morphed and evolved into a weapon to tear our families apart and lead our children from that school, that pipeline to that prison, because men that want to get involved don't know where their children live. Right now, no matter what court order I got, she ain't got to comply. But the thing is, like when my son would call me and tell me, Daddy, can you come get me? Yeah. Tell me your address. She hang up. I don't have an address, or I don't have a phone number, because when she have him to call me, it's from a blocked number. She is breaking all kind of court orders. They still ain't got to make her comply. So now I got to file an order of contempt, a motion for contempt, to actually get her to where she could be held criminally liable. But guess what? If somebody hiding from you and you don't know what their address is, you can't have them served. So even though I got all the right in the world to have my son legally through court, I can't even use the court system because she's ducking and dodging and hiding.
Wow.
And my son ain't the only one. I saw a video yesterday that I sent you, children for that situation. They just not starting to reconcile and reunite with their parents, and they're 24, 25 years old, finding out all the different things that their sinister mom or their sinister dad did to destroy them.
And
I don't give a damn about no money.
And see,
it is a shame. It is a shame that men at one point in time wouldn't do that. My daddy was one of them. But right now it's a whole different level. It's bigger than money. So if we're just gonna talk about child support, then for those of you that's more worried about the money, cool. But it's a whole bigger issue out there.
Exactly.
It's bigger than the money.
And Captain, what do you say to that, man? A lot of times it is bigger than the money. A lot of times. And see, the thing about it, the part that breaks my heart the most is through all the bickering that goes on between the mother and the father, and however it is or how it's laid out, I don't know everybody's situation, but it can get very ugly. But in the course of all that, the child is the one that's really suffering the most, because the child is going to be the one that's going to be without one of the parents. The child is going to be the one that get caught in the middle majority of the time. And that's not a place that's comfortable for a child, nor should that child be placed in that situation. What do you say to that, Captain?
Well, dear brother, the child becomes the ping pong ball.
Yes.
When I listen to my brother Rico and everybody on this, on Morning Globe, we all had been privileged to know the pain, the hurt that our brother going through, and he has shared some very intimate things with us concerning his son. And of course, he's a good example. The man want to see his boy. That's common, man. But the wife of the mama, she is playing him, his son, against Rico. So whatever the relationship between Rico and the woman, it ain't got nothing to do with the child. It has something to do with she's mad at him, he's mad at her, they fighting in the court, and the child becomes the victim. This man wants his boy. There's no question about that. But women are so devious. Some of them, not all.
Yeah.
So devious that they will use the child. Well, let me share this and say this to our brother Rico. Listen, dear brother, you are part of a system of many, many, many black men who have become this kind of, I would say, political ploy. But trust me when I say this, Brother Rico, to a child, no matter what the mother say to that child, there is no such thing to that child of a no good daddy. A child don't see a no good daddy. Daddy is daddy. Now, no matter what influence a woman try to put on that child, trust me when I say this. When that child, that male child, gets about 12 and 13, 14, and he start rebelling, when she go to tell him that I ain't doing that. Now, when he start rebelling on her, he gonna rebel. It always do. Then that's when she gonna call you. Man, you better come and get this boy if I kill him. You better get him up out of here. Oh, now you want to call me. Now you want me in his life. Now you don't have no problem. See? But as long as you can influence him when he's young, you got him. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us Muslims, his words to the Nation of Islam, and I'm a captain, and I had to deal with a lot of separation with brothers in the nation, with the women in the nation. But Elijah Muhammad said, brother, if you go to court to battle for custody, never try to fight for custody if that child is 11 years old and under. Leave that child with the mother, no matter, unless you know it's physical abuse or sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, leave that child with that mother. But when the child is 12 and above, then you fight for custody. Because that's the development years for a male to kick in his role anyway to train that young man. Really, our role starts when he gets 12 or 13, to be honest with you. But if he's there, you're leaving. Mother, you ain't going to do nothing but mostly destroy the child through that separation thing and keep this going on, because if the father say something to the boy, you know your mama don't want you, and he don't want to get involved. You know our mama. And when mama gets, your daddy ain't no good. He don't want to get daddy. So who, as Brother Rico, as Brother Raheem said, the child emotionally becomes disturbed from the balance. So somebody got to throw in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to stop that. Somebody got to say, you know what? I'm not going to stand with my child no more with this big. You got it. And let God do whatever God's going to do. But if you believe in a God, then you're going to get that boy, and you're going to get him at a time that you really, really need you. Right now, I know how you feel, but don't give that woman no edge to make sure. See, there's two things in the military. Don't let nobody see you bleed, and don't let nobody see you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody make you cry, man. Because once they know you cry, I got him. But brother, you stay strong. God has got you. Don't you worry about your boy. He's okay. I don't give a doggone what she say to him. As long as she's not physically abusing that boy, you're going to get your boy, man. And when he grow up to the point of 13, 14, 15, he going to know what the deal is. But she'll pay a price for that. Trust me. This always happens. Out of all the brothers in the name, everything, when the sister comes, it's a shame. But when there is an argument between two grown males and a female, money is not the issue. They use money issues because if they know you ain't got the money, they want to be able to take you to court and force the court to give what you ain't got. They want to disrupt your life, even though you do have a responsibility, no question about that. But when you allow the court system to get involved, they don't bring unity between the community. They don't bring unity between the families. The court system keeps y'all divided. You know why? Because the state makes money on child support. It's a business with them. And by the time you send your child support to pay for it, do you know how long it takes from you to get, for you to say, before she gets, it takes a damn near 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks. What is the government doing with all that child support money coming in? They are investing it, and we don't even know. There's interest on their money. We don't even, so they in the business. Because by the time that child get the money, I sent the money out. Well, we didn't get it yet. We normally get it a week later. Why? Because the government is using it to draw interest off that money, and they investing it in places that we don't even know nothing about. I'm telling you, this wicked damn devil is involved in keeping us at each other's throats. I'm sorry, brother. I went over.
Good deal. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, sir? Mr. Hicks? Mr. Hicks might have stepped away for us for a second. He might have stepped away for a second. Rico, talk to me, brother. Badger coming to you next.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's a wicked system. You know, I mean, that video, I was glad I found it, man. It's called Erasing Families. And like I said, it's not just women that's doing it, and it ain't just black women that's doing it. It's, you know, it's white men and white women doing it too.
Yeah.
Black, well, you know what? I just realized something. I didn't see any black men being accused of doing that on that video. And I saw some black children that had black mothers that did it. You know, that they didn't focus on the black children as much, you know, which this is America, that ain't nothing new. Because if they'd have taught, there ain't no telling what they'd have been, what kind of deep down information they got. If you realize that they didn't interview them black children in the detail like they did the rest of them. But even with the ones that they went into detail with, it really just even, I guess it makes it more relatable to dig into the concept of the white children. Now, you know, I like what Captain Dennis said. You know, that's a lot of faith and hope. But on that video, you saw some people that were still crying because their children still didn't have nothing to do with them. This one sister and her mother still trying to get the brother to wake up from the brainwashing because that one sister found out the truth of what that father did and that stepmother. And he's still going to communicate because he believes all the lies and brainwashing, especially when that parent, that bully, that a mentally abusive parent has all the finer things and comforts they can offer you. It might be better than the things that other parent has, or maybe you don't even have an opportunity to know what the other parent has to offer. Because they might be saying that the other parent is a crackhead on drugs, or you know how many times I done heard somebody say that they found out that their daddy wasn't dead.
Wow.
Because somebody didn't want them to be around their daddy. Why? For whatever reason, it's low down, but that you didn't think enough about that child. So the family courts, man, you know, just, you know, sum it up. That child support thing, which is just one avenue of it, it has evolved into a whole different monster, and they knew it because they know human nature and behavior. They know people, when they get favor and advantage, they will abuse it when they get in their feelings and their emotions. Like I said, I ended up on child support because my baby mama got mad at me, not because I wasn't taking care of them, because they used to live with me, and I wanted them back. I would have accepted it. I would have accepted some of the things she did if she could have stopped just to have my family back. But the minute I didn't babysit on my birthday, because she didn't want me to go out and do what I had planned to do on my birthday, she gonna teach me a lesson and had them folks surprise me. She didn't have no choice because she was getting welfare on a surprise. She wanted her freedom. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the system is set up and rigged, and they don't want to fix it. Captain D hit it on the head. It's about money. You heard that meeting where they had, and the white guy said, well, we can't put this program in place to help these children because it will cost us to lose $4 million or $4 billion in state funding. He said, man, it ain't about the money. We ain't fixing to sacrifice these children to keep getting some money, some funding from the feds. But some people are choosing for funding, federal funding and other reasons, because it's, like I said, it's deeper than money, because the children that come from this are so dysfunctional that they might end up doing things that'll send them to prison and don't know how to break away from it because of all that chaos and that just don't care attitude. You know, how many of them children say, you know what, man, I just said screw it. How many of them say, you know what, man, I don't have a relationship with them because I don't know anything about them, but they didn't realize it wasn't their fault.
Exactly.
I mean, so it's like, man, that they got a mean thing in place, man, and you know it needs to be legislation. It needs to be made more well, because really and truly, the breakdown of the family is really the source of the majority of our problems in society. The breakdown of the family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? And we got I think we have Rosalind with us as well. I'm going to go to Rosalind after you. So Badger, what's on your heart?
I mean, I don't know what more to say.
Mhm.
You know, this is pretty much going to continue to go in circles.
Mhm. Okay.
Because it's, I mean,
somebody got a conversation going on in
like,
the back.
like to me, it's going to depend on what the woman decides to do, what the man decides to do, what the court system does or does not allow. Or is everyone involved truly for the child or not?
Mm-hmm.
So like I mean, there's a man. Sometimes with conversations like this, it's just like how long are we gonna, beat the dead horse?
Well, until he get up and stand up and start walking again, because at the end of the day, the main objective about a conversation like this is that we want to put the children in the best situation they could possibly be in. Has nothing to do with the mother, has nothing to do with the father. Our main objective and our main viewpoint, I know mine at least, is on that child, making sure that the child is in the best situation.
How we do that?
The child is in the best position so that he or she could have the best of both worlds, and that's both parents in their life, so they can know who both parents are. Because a lot of times children will grow up not knowing one side of they know one side of the family that they live with, but they don't know the other side of the family. They may not even know the dad's side of the family, or if they're with the dad, may not know the mother's side of the family. They may not know, and I think they have a right to know who is in the DNA that makes them up. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I think Rico was saying like she up in the spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's receiving welfare, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I don't know.
Or something of that nature. Like if any state benefits
Mm-hmm.
requires an address of your resident.
There's a
An
lot of ways.
AC.
There's a lot of ways around that system, brother. There's a lot of ways.
So
you don't believe in privacy? Hold on, you got to think about it, Badger, because you speaking like you know something. But listen, you got to understand there's privacy issues. You just can't release people's information. There are things that are agreed to when people get involved in certain things that they cannot release your information, because if they do, they might get sued. So it's all about playing the system. So if it was that easy, then she wouldn't even have an opportunity to not comply. Come on, man. The court system can't even enforce it if she don't want to comply.
Mm-hmm.
Or which or not, or he. If he doesn't want to comply, they can't enforce it.
Mm-hmm.
Enforce what?
Orders, court orders.
Mm-hmm. Child support orders and different things of that, visitation and all that, different things like that goes into that. Go ahead, Badger. Badger. Okay. Badger may have stepped away for a second. Let me see who else. Rosalind. Rosalind.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
It's Wednesday.
It's hump day, way out Wednesday. Hey, way out Wednesday. You know how we do it? Go way out, man. Ain't no telling where we're gonna end up at today, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're talking about child support.
I was listening in earlier and getting ready, getting my daughter ready for school, just to throw some humor in there. She said, "Mama, they're talking about child support. You should call in and tell them that my daddy need to pay child support." Yeah, she's very, very observant. She listens to everything, but she gets to the age to where I just talk to her about things. Not I don't talk bad about him, but we have those conversations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And they're needed, and they're really needed, because children need to know. I don't know to what extent or how far you will take the conversation, or how far it is, how far you can go safely with that conversation. But I think the conversation needs to be had. But what do you think about how the system is set up, though? Do you think it's fair? If we're talking about a young man that wants to do the right thing, that's in a position to try to do the right thing, but fall into hard times, and because he fall into hard times, he fall into the arrears, and because he's in arrears now, his license will be suspended, has a potential of being locked up. By the time he get out, now he's in a deeper hole financially. Is does that make sense?
No, I mean, I don't think it's fair. I remember even working for the prison system, you had guys that was in there, and the bill was steady going up. And I'm like, okay, this don't make no sense. Like, how can he work and be incarcerated? But no, it's not fair. I think somebody said it earlier. They need to look into redoing something, because it is set up to fail for men, because if you want to do for your child, if you're doing for your child and you still have to pay child, it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on my behalf, I mean, I'm just speaking from this is just my experience. Because I have my child father on child support, which he hasn't paid anything, but I didn't want to do it. But the reason why I did it was because they helped me with childcare.
Mm-hmm.
And childcare is expensive. Childcare here is like $125 a week. So you think about, okay, I have a choice. Do I want to put him on child support and they help me pay this $125 a week, or put him on child support and he give me $50 a month? So it's like, it's like I mean, it's set up like that, but I can't allow my child to suffer because he don't want to participate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So that money adds up. So if I pay that out of my pocket, then that's going to hurt my child, because that's more money pulling from my income, and I only have one. So it's not fair, but you have to look at it on both sides. That's just my opinion.
Exactly. And you really have to. Captain, what's on your heart?
Well, I like to see her daughter. Hey, Mom, that's a good conversation. We need to put pop into the game. But, children are not ignorant to the father's lack of responsibility. Let me tell you how children get involved. Children get involved as they get older. They want more things. And as they want more things, they look to Mama. She's stressed out. They got these new sneakers, Mom. They got this new outfit, Mom. Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. I'm working too hard to pay these bills. You need to call your daddy. That's how that conversation is. You need to call your daddy. All right? And he should see, out of sight is out of mind.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that what we do in the nation? Let me share this with you. I don't like to talk to nation's business, but since I'm in the nation, y'all don't know nothing about what we do. As a captain, that's why they call it. Regulate the law in the mind. If a brother lacks his responsibility, I got to bring him to the court in the nation. The child already goes through trauma in the separation with the father and the mother. They're already going through trauma. Daddy and Mama arguing. There's a separation. So the child, man, who used to have a dad in the home, they stressed. They're not coming home no more. No, it's no good. So the child's already stressed. Y'all, they nobody see the child, what they going through. I remember when my daddy and my mother separated. Man, that hurts. Now, check this out. So when the brother and the sister, so instead of this is forgive me, y'all. I don't want to think we wasted. But we would say to this sister, don't you go to the white man. That's the sister. Don't you go to the white man.
Yeah.
Well, how am I'm going to make him so brother, I know you're suffering. I know you, brother. I know what you make. I know what you're driving. Sister, how much you think you need to be able to maintain? Well, Brother Calvin, at least $100 and something a week. He make all that. I know he, brother. That's what we're going to make it. Well, brother Cap, man, you know, brother, you ain't got no more responsibility. You living by yourself, you know. You got it yourself. And what you do, brother, you come and you give us the money just to be at the mosque, and we hand it from him to you. Ain't no middleman.
Yeah.
And if we don't live up to the responsibility, we ain't the police. We ain't gonna put him in jail, but you damn sure don't want no door knocked from the FOI. Yes, sir. Brother. Yes, sir, brother. You know you got the responsibility. Yes, sir, brother. Let me go in there and get through. All right. Don't let us have to knock on your door again. So the sister feel good. We are the enforcement of his responsibility. Now, I hate to say we got to enforce it, but it's better than her to go to the doggone system, go in the child support, get the man arrested, get them the hell out of the business. Let us handle the business. That's what we do. That's why I said we need a second party. I need to go into the business of collecting the damn child support. Man, let me call Captain Dennis. That nigga ain't took his business, Captain Dennis. All right, sister. We go get it.
Amen.
He ain't gonna tell Captain Dennis no with free brother. Why we got to come to knock on your door to take care of your damn responsibility? You want the white man to do it? Lock your butt up. Now you're gonna be crying. My brother go through his pocket and give his money. No. But nevertheless, family, that's what I talk about. We need a second party. And keep them out the business, man, because it's about holding them responsible. But they are called enforcement. Their way of enforcing is locking him up. My way of enforcement is knocking on his door. That's my way of enforcement. I can see with, and if the man ain't got no, I can say to his sister, your brother ain't working. You can't get water from a rock. But what, sister, you know, I know it's this, you know it's this. Now, here's what we could do. We'll try to give him a job around the mosque. We'll try to give him a job on the security detail. The money you make, we send it to you. That's the best we could do. You can, well, yeah, because we don't want your anger and emotions force this man to hate you to the point where he don't want to give, because if he don't give, he want to make you mad instead of the child. So I don't know how that emotional thing goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of men killing them women. They're killing them over this child support thing. They get so angry. I worked with a white guy who burned up the daggone woman and her child. It took his own, he had a step that took his child when he got him. Burned her up. It's a true story. The dude used to drop the heavy. I used to ride with the white boy. You might think, I'm sorry. I hate to use the word white. I used to ride with the man. So people will go to that street. Look at Brother Rico. He's a stable man. But don't push him. Don't push him like that. Because it may not be killing, but shoot, he may beat the slap out of her. Just lose it. Just mentally lose it. And we're all at that stage. You can't say what another human being would do under emotional strain.
Exactly.
Don't play with people who's under emotional strain. Today, they will kill you.
Wow.
Go to the penitentiary. That's real talk I'm talking about. Don't play with nobody's emotions.
Exactly.
And women, you got to understand, playing with these brothers and brothers playing with these women. Because they ain't taking no mess from you either.
Exactly.
They tired. They ain't got to chase you down to take care of your responsibility. They tired. You should be a grown up man. Man up. And if they don't take care of the responsibility, call this number, Captain Dennis FOI. Now I get a little percentage if I take it down now. No.
Look here, watch this. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Man, look at this and see what people don't realize and understand, man. This child support thing, it goes real deep, man. It goes real deep. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Toussaint, we talking about the child support. We're actually going to switch up and go to something else in a minute or two. But right now we're talking about the child support, man, and how is the child support system, is it fair? Is it just? Because we're using an example of a man that want to do right. We're not talking about them deadbeats that ain't doing nothing. They need what's coming to them. But my thing is this right here. If a young man wants to do right and run into some hard times, he run into some hard times and get it into your rears, Now they're going to suspend his license and lock him up. By the time he get out of jail from being locked up, now he's in a deeper hole financially than he was in before he got locked up. So is that fair? And how does that help the child?
It's just the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the system. I mean, if you can avoid it, and if you can,
Mm-hmm.
there's any way that you can avoid going through that system. As parents, you should try to work it out
Mm-hmm.
some kind of way. You don't have to talk to each other. Make it about the child, because they don't get it all anyway, and it just causes problems. If I saw a young man, matter of fact, I've been there, done that, and time takes care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get a refund check, child support refund check.
Mm-hmm.
What you say?
Come on now.
I told my dad, I said, Dad, I had to talk to him about that. I said, Dad, what? I got a child support, and it kept coming. Child support check, refund check. I said, what do you think about that? He said, cash it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, don't, if you can, avoid it. I mean, it's because it's not really fair. Because they had one young man, I know him almost, I'm probably out of time now. He came to court, and I was in court, of course, that because I changed job, and I thought that I wasn't going to be able to pay it, but they ain't never missed a payment because I had a difference in pay. Here's a young man says they came to court, and he was asked where he been. He said Houston, and humped his shoulder. And when the judge asked him what he been doing, he was $30,000 in the rear. How you get $30,000 in the rear? But here's what they did with him. Gave him 6 months. Now how you gonna catch up?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So when he gets out, add 6 months of whatever he had to pay a month to that 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a young man, he was paying child support, and his son was 40 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Still paying.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, man, I don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking about this morning. We're talking about, this is way out Wednesday, but right now we're talking about child support. We're talking about child support and the child support system. Is it fair? Now, we're not in nowhere at all, no means are we saying that for whoever the absent parent, that they should not pay. We're not saying that. We're not giving them an out, but we're asking this question: if say it's a young man and he wants to do the right thing, he's trying to do everything, but he falls into hard times and he get in arrears. Because of the fact he get in arrears, now they're going to suspend his license and lock him up. By the time he get out, now he's double, he's in a deeper hole than what he was in before he went in. Is that fair? Is that, and how does that help? Like I asked Tucson a minute ago, how does that help the child?
No, well, it doesn't help the child, and this is just me, and I'm just being as transparent as I can be. I have 2 children that I birthed, and I have never asked their fathers. I've never taken them to court. I've asked them to help, but when I was young, I never took them to court. When they didn't want to do it, I did it myself because I had a problem with the system. And I mean, my children, of course, they never suffered for anything because I worked 2 jobs to make sure that they had. But I was firm in making the decision that if you don't want to take care of your own child, I'm not going to force you. And I'm not going to make anybody else force you. That's on you. But mine is like I'm weird. So that's just me. That's what I did because I really advise people, if they don't want to do it, you go and you ask over and over and over again. then you need to go to court, because that working 2 jobs and I was in school trying to make ends meet, and you out there partying and doing what you want to do, it's not fair. But I just did it that way. So, that's my story.
Exactly. Well, we're good. Actually gonna transition over. I got this clip I want to play. It's something a little different here. Let me see. Can I get this thing set up while we talk? While I do this, get this clip. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I want to make it understood again that it's bigger than child support.
Yeah.
Now, I was all in favor of child support. One thing, just like what Cassandra just said. If I was to meet a young woman and she was telling me that her and this man was splitting up and she couldn't, he had like he didn't want to come around, I know he might be mad at the beginning. I'll tell her, well, wait for a second before you do all this welfare thing. If y'all can't work everything out, see if you can co-parent. That takes a lot of cooperation. Remember that word, cooperation. And if she said she tried to cooperate with him and he wouldn't, I would advise her to go put him on child support. Because that's what it's there for. That's been understood from the very beginning. But you asked the question, you should ask, was it fair? You didn't say, is child support wrong? So now when you ask, is it fair? We already understand why it's there. The reason why Rosalind had to get it, very understandable. I would advise her to do the same thing. But is it fair? Well, it's fair if that man doesn't want to cooperate to take care of his child financially. But once again, if you think about what those children said, because some of those people did pay child support. Most children value that quality time. Because when a child grows up, man, sometimes they need their other parent just to talk to bond with, to defend them, to nurture them. So many different things, especially the father. The father might have to protect them and go out here and talk to somebody that's been bullying them. Defend and protect and provide, that's supposed to be the role of a father, right?
Yes.
Role of a man. So it must be evident that they need that in their lives. But when we have these conversations and we are talking about the fact that child support isn't fair, first off, it ain't really about child support not being fair. Family courts ain't fair. They could solve this easily by I'm going to say, making it criminal if a parent decides not to cooperate with a other functional or logical-minded parent because of the mental abuse. They could come up with different ways. Just like they could lock a man up for not taking care of the child financially, they could lock the other parent up for not taking care of the child mentally, because it's all about that child having an opportunity to be with that other parent and know their legacy, know where they come from. So we have to make sure, I think, when we have these type of conversations that we understand where it's coming from. Because I agree with why Rosalind had to get child support and why so many other women did. I wish my mama would have did. But the family court thing is what we probably should focus on more. I believe that if we keep defending child support, because I don't think the child support needs defending. Child support needs amending.
Yeah.
Family court needs amending. So I don't really think there's a need for women to actually come and defend child support anymore, because it's already understood and it's something in place for them, and they're taking advantage of it. They're getting those benefits. They're getting that enforcement. These men going to jail and getting their license suspended. So you ain't got to defend your reasoning for why child support exists or why you're getting it. What we got to address is how it's being abused and tearing up our families by people that are using it as weapons.
Exactly.
Because if we keep on trying to go back to make us remember, remember that's why it was there. Of course we know that's why it was there. But now how is it destroying us? Is it fair? That is the topic. That's what needs to be addressed if it isn't. Because if we always spend the majority of the time talking about why it even exists from the beginning, like we didn't know it, like it doesn't exist, obviously we know why it exists because it's in place. We need to find out how to amend it and quit defending it. Child support needs no more defending. It does what it does, like a well-oiled machine. What we need to do is see if we can make that machine go down a different path, change the direction of it, so we can save these children. Because like I said, it's bigger than finances. It's bigger than benefits. When you have these children that just don't even have the nurturing of the bond of relationships with these parents. Some of them kids say they didn't even want to know their daddy because they went so long without knowing them that they felt like strangers. That's more damage than financial. So I mean, it's family court. I wish we would have went more toward the family court system than child support, because to me, it's like I said, it's way bigger than money, man. It's about the trauma that these children go through.
Okay.
And the things they get put through, learning how to sabotage their own other parent for the devious parent, the sinister parent, learning to be malicious, learning to go and steal paperwork and stuff. I mean, come on, man. It's a whole nother thing that the family court is allowing. But child support is needed. I ain't gonna never say it ain't needed. We don't need to defend that no more, though.
Exactly.
We need to amend.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. A question has come across the board here, and Cassandra, I'm gonna ask you this question: Can a mother get child support without having a DNA test?
If the father doesn't object, yeah. I mean, I know people that have gotten child support without the DNA test. Yes, he can get it. But if he disputes it, then the courts will make them do a DNA test, make her do a DNA test on the child. So yeah, she can get it. But if he says, no, that ain't my baby, which people do, then you have the right to have a DNA. The court will order a DNA test.
But that's only if he disputed, if for whatever reason he disputed and say that. I can understand that part. Say that that's not my child, or I have doubts that that's my child because she's been a little busy. She's been a little busy, and so I just want to be clear. But I know that a lot of times, because I've seen so many cases where men go to court and it's found out that they're not, after they pay so much child support, that ain't even my baby. Now he wants his money back. I deserve to get my money back. That don't always work in his favor, but he have a right to go and say, I want my money back. You had me pay.
But he needs to do that from the beginning. When if you have any kind of doubt, you need to do that from the beginning.
Absolutely.
I don't mind paying child support, but let's take a DNA test. That's what any man. If you got any doubt, any suspicious anything, then you need to get the DNA test from the beginning. That way you can save yourself all of the trouble of court later trying to get the money back.
I'd rather know than not know. You know what I mean? And so I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But that does not negate the fact that she can apply for it. And if he, for whatever reason, do not dispute it, then she can get child support without the DNA test.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Willow!
Hey, Ryan. Good morning, Morning Glow. Good morning.
Good morning, sis. We're talking about child support, and it's the child support system fair. And I gave an example of a young man that wanted to do the right thing, but fell into hard times. End up getting in arrears, and because he's in arrears, license suspended, go to jail, get out of jail, and he's in a deeper financial hole. Is all that fair? And Willa, how does that help the child? Him being locked up, license suspended. Initially he wanted to do the right thing and was doing the right thing. How does that help the child?
It doesn't. Just like Rico said, it needs to be amended. We know why it's in place, but it needs to be amended because you're right. Locking up somebody or taking away their license doesn't change the fact that he still owes child support. And I watched Lori Lake in Chicago. There's a parental show, and I found out other things too, and I've learned about other things. I learned that when a man signs the birth certificate, legally now he is
the father.
Obligated for child support, even if that's not his child, because he signed that birth certificate.
That contract.
So that was one thing that I found out. I learned, that I didn't know.
You signed
that if he signed that birth certificate, he is legally obligated to pay child support for that child, even if it's not his.
Yep. And because you actually signed that that's a contract. You signed the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you've actually signed the document. I have a family member, Raheem, that has taken care of a young lady for 40-some years. And then a medical issue came up, and he found out that wasn't his child. It destroyed him. He still loved the child, but it destroyed him because he actually thought that was his biological daughter. But we take care of kids that are not ours anyway. Normally men do that anyway when they go into a household with a woman that already has children. So, that's not he's there. But it destroyed him thinking that this was his biological child, and he found out that his wife had cheated on him.
Wow.
That's what really probably destroyed it.
Wow.
But I just wanted to tell you that today right here.
Good deal. Good deal. Now we're about to transition over to another topic. I got this thing, something that's happened here in the Atlanta area. And we're talking about parenting, so we're gonna stay in that vein. One of our local celebrities, child has gotten in a situation and may be going to prison. And I'm talking about, and a lot of y'all T.I. or Tip, people call them different names. And he released a video, and I want to play that video and get y'all take on what he's saying in this particular. Now, I haven't seen the video. I don't know whether he got profanities or whatever, and I haven't seen it. But I ran across it. I know the story, but I want to play this particular video, and we're going to talk about that because parenting, there's no handbook, and you try to put your children in the best situation. And he said, I've heard him say, not on this particular clip, because like I said, again, I haven't seen this clip, but I have seen him say, I did everything I could do, man. I kept telling him, blase. And there may be some of the things he said in this particular clip, but let's listen to this and see what Tip is talking about. And then we'll have a conversation based on that as well. Here we go.
T.I. reacts to Son King's latest run-in with the law.
Hey, top of the top. Top of the top, top of the top. Got a minor request. Hope everybody having a phenomenal morning. Got a small request, man. Stop hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, he's going to prison. If you got to keep this shit up, he's going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had a conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. You can.
May I take a selfie with you?
Nah, go ahead.
Please,
I'm in the middle of something. But go ahead. This is more important. Go ahead. Come on.
Thank you.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. So I already had that conversation with him, man. King's a good kid, chasing after the wrong. And I trust in God to deal with it the way that he see fit. You know what I mean? It ain't really shit outside. He done got all the whoopings, he done got the punny, he done did everything as a child you could do to him. So now you're gonna have to go through it. You're gonna have to go through it and get through it. And ain't me and mama or nobody else gonna be able to say about it, man. But I'ma love him all the way through whatever it is he going through. You know what I mean? And shit, man, he gonna learn his lessons. Life gonna, you know what I mean? Life is gonna teach him all the lessons that he need to know. And that's the most that we can do. That's the best we can ask for. You know what I mean? I know who he is at his core. You know what I'm saying? This shit that he trying to convince himself of things, as we all do as young men and even young women growing up, try to convince ourselves that we are certain things. And in that journey, we find out exactly who the fuck we really is, you know what I'm saying? And it happens when we least expect it, and our lessons come from what we didn't know they were coming from. And it just ain't shit else to do. Ain't shit else to do, man. Time is gonna be his teacher. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I hope everybody have a peaceful, appreciate that, bro. A peaceful and productive day. All right? And I catch up with y'all on the flip side. Oh, Memphis, I'll be at you this evening.
Okay. Captain, what did you hear? What did you hear in that, Captain?
I heard me.
Mm.
I heard every parent who go through this, man. You have children that have their own mind made up of what they want to do, and no matter what you try to do, use every experience in your arsenal. Some you try to beat them, some you try to reason with them, but as T.I. say, experience is the best teacher. I mean, experience is the best teacher. I mean, hey, he got to go through it. There's an old saying, the Christians say these words: the devil would take you to it, while God would take you through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the saying today. The devil would take my man to wherever he wanted to go, he would take him to it. But God would get him through it.
Come on.
So he ain't gonna be all right. He may have to pay a price. We hope death don't be the price. But T.I. said he made peace with God.
Mm-hmm.
He did everything he announced that boy got. And it's sad. Why would we expect celebrities to have more control over their children than those who are not celebrities?
Absolutely.
It ain't got nothing to do, buddy. Sometimes the celebrities' children are worse.
Mm-hmm.
Are worse. You know, and they just like us, man. They got the same issues, you know, and the sad thing about it, you know, I don't know. I guess because his father, T.I., you know, T.I. wasn't no angel. I mean, everybody knows T.I. background, but I like T.I.
Mm-hmm.
Because T.I. is a man that he's been very transparent, him and his wife, on that show that, you know, they have the same ups and downs we all have. So I think he was right. I think there's nothing we could do when you got children like that. I got one like that, two of them like that. So, hey, man, just make sure you did all you could to give them the best you can. But hey, if they decide to go down that road, okay, man, go keep them. And then one day they get to that point where they're meant to come back and tell you, you know, I should have listened to you.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You should have, but the thing now. So that's my spin.
Good deal. Cassandra, what did you hear?
Yeah, I mean, T.I. was straight up, and I like him a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like
really
him.
do.
Mm-hmm.
He said exactly what, when you've done, and Kat said it, we all got, well, not all of us, but some of us got that one that's going to be defiant no matter what you do, how you try to help them, they're going to go back. I stayed in court so much with my son, it was ridiculous. And finally, it was like that last go round, I said, man, this is it. I ain't coming back with you. And God said, if you come back before another judge, you ain't going to walk. And he did not walk. He got 18 years. And he did 11 out of those 18. But it wasn't that he wasn't warned, and it wasn't that I wasn't supportive. It's the choices that he made.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's what it is, man. And like I say all the time, there's no handbook, man. You know, and you could do it as a parent. You could do everything right and have the right conversation with them. But like y'all said, man, it's the choices that they make when they get out there in these streets, man. It's the choices that they make, and they have to pay for those choices. Rico, talk to me, brother.
You know what, man? I'm about to bust out laughing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I see?
What's that?
Like father, like son. You reap what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
What I hear T.I. doing a whole bunch of denying and deflecting, because T.I. done showed us who he is. T.I. ain't been making videos of him taking his children to church.
Mm-hmm.
He been spitting game to them, street knowledge. very eloquently.
Mm-hmm.
He been a hypocrite and a double standard and a whatever a walking contradiction. But see, he a celebrity though, and he got money. So he said, you know, I gave him everything he needed. That's on him. I give it to God. But we ain't seen you take him to God one time. We seen you provide the finer things. And I see now he might want to imitate the things that you did, because when you was making all this money, you was raising a lot of sin and chaos and talking real big about 5'3", 5'4". I bust this and shoot that and F12. And it got you paid, and you gave your children the finer things, and we've been able to see all the finer things. But we also have seen that y'all done had a good time. But you ain't took them to nobody church. You don't have Young Thug around them. Who? What? Who? All these rappers, man, they money launderers.
Mm-hmm.
They co-sign for criminal behavior. That little dude Rollo got caught twice, averaged almost about 1,000 pounds of weed. They sending petitions using their access and their power and their celebrity to sign petitions to free a man that was caught red-handed flying weed from California.
Mm-hmm.
Free Young Thug. You hear this?
Mm-hmm.
This is the same T.I. Now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, it's in God's hands. No, you in denial, homeboy. You deflecting. You done created a monster. You financed a privileged child. Now he don't know how to function because he talk about how much money he got. How King got that kind of money? What's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what kings do. They do what they want to do. And you say you wanted your son to be a king because he going to be a king. I remember when you had him. His name Cain. I want to be just like his dad. I'm Cain of the South. Yep, you're reaping what you sow, homeboy.
Good deal. 508.
And so you don't act right till it's opportunistic, until it's time to take advantage of an opportunity to use your celebrity to jump in front of a platform and talk all good and eloquent, then get right back out here and talk about fighting Floyd and all kind of goofy mess.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. What did you all hear in that particular clip? Did y'all hear anything different than what we heard? Give us a call and give us your intake. Give us your input on what you heard in that particular clip. Badger, what's on your heart?
I mean, it sounds like he dropping some responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 18-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not fully mature, and he grew up around that kind of environment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from listening to some of the song or some snippets of the songs and some of the things he said, it even shows what he got pulled over for and what he got fined for. And it boils down to not following laws.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
so do you? Let me stop your time here. So, do you think that his imagery that he put out there in the public for the record industry is the same person that he is in the home with his family? Does that necessarily bold to be true all the time?
It could be a social thing. Might not, you know, see, that's a tough one, because sometimes at home, I mean, sometimes it's even said that, like, kids can be an absolute terror at home, but the moment they go to someone else's house, they are the most politest people that you could ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also hear the flip side. Child is supposedly a perfect child at home. They get out socially and they're troublemakers. So, like, to me, I'm looking at that situation in particular, and, you know, if the adult did the best that he could with what he had access to, is there the potential that that young man, kid, whatever person, I'm just going to say kid, you know, would have made better choices? It's possible. It's very possible. So we're not in that specific situation. Now, if I know if it was my kid, I would have a talk to him and tell him, you're getting out of my house. If you're going to act like a fool, you're not going to be here.
Okay. Okay. I got 30 seconds, but my thing is this right from that clip. That when I listen to the clip, I understand all the other stuff that you all are saying, but when I listen to the clip, he said he's done all the things that a parent could do. Had the talk, had the conversation, had the whoopings, had the punishment, and had all these different things. But it does go back to like Captain was saying, the child have to make the decision for themselves, and they have to be responsible for the decisions that they make. Now, if they're not going to do that, then there's going to be some repercussions.
I think at a point, once they get to certain ages, that's why I'm still saying that he's not a young man, he's a kid. That there's, I don't think most people mature until they get into their late 20s, early 30s. I think as you're, getting into your early 20s, 18, 19, 20, you still end up making a ton of mistakes. Most of us do. It's part of the learning process. Some are mature at that age and some ain't.
Good deal. Got to keep it moving. Let me go to let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? What did you hear in that clip?
I didn't catch all of it. I had to be honest with you.
Okay.
What's in a nutshell? Let me tell you what I told my children. Well, let me go back to my parents. My dad would say, if you get in trouble for foolishness, don't call me. But if you get in trouble and you're not at fault, then I'll come get you. I told my kids, you get in trouble for foolishness, I'll visit you once a month. We have to do, every time a kid cry for tennis shoes, that don't mean you have to give it to them. And we live in a society now that we think that we give them what they need, but they can't spell. But we feel like so they won't be bullied or they can fit the trend, we buy them $300 tennis shoes. They can't spell. So we giving them everything they need. I'm providing for mine. But we misguided because we eating seafood and our children eating cereal. We party till the sun come up, but we giving them everything they need.
Wow.
Because the mainstream society is dictating the way we raise our kids. I don't know the guy. I mean, everybody, people with money, I guess, they have a way of thinking that they provide for their kids. It's up to them.
Wow.
But do you sit down and talk to them? Do you do everything they really need? Is there and it's up to person, and I shut up. Is there God in their life?
Exactly. Wow.
That's the
foundation. Yes, sir. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about what we're talking about right now, man. We can raise our children, man, but it's come a point in time in their life where they have to make their own decision, and they're gonna be responsible for those decisions that they make. And this has nothing to do with celebrity. I just use him because that was a situation that was out there. You can go down in any household in your community, in your city, in your state, and it's going to be the same situation, man. We have to raise our children, but we have to raise them to a point. We have to raise them to a point and have the confidence in when they get out there in this world, in these streets, they're gonna do the right things. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Blessings to everybody.
Blessings to you as well. Yes, sir. I say blessings to you as well. Walaikum assalam. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, I kind of entered in this with a kind of a bad mood, but listening to what y'all was saying, and I don't know what T.I. said, You know, T.I. has done a lot of things in the black community in the last few years around, man. So, you know, and I heard this child maybe got some type of trouble.
Yeah, he did.
You know, and I heard some things that really just hurt me because I had a lot of respect for a certain gentleman. But you know, my life, you know, I've done some horrible things in my life. You know, I'm what some people might call a pimp. You know, I've done some horrible things in my life. But my children, and my dad was the same way, but he raised his children different. You know, we had a better life. We had better example that we seen until we got out of life. We saw other things, but it wasn't because of one lack of trying that given what we needed and not what we and not what we wanted, what the world put in front of us, you know. So and then when we say word God, and one thing that troubled me in the last few months, listening to you know, some self-styled Christians on the show. Because they self-styled because there's no plate. There's no thing to say, well, this person is a Christian. This person is not. But want to look at themselves how they want to look at themselves. And I've seen so much hate and vitriol in this group. And then when I see somebody casting a spirit on somebody, and then you remember, if you want to go back to the Bible, it said, like, you know, at the well, when Miriam was at the well, that's one of those chapters that was put in. It wasn't a real chapter in the actual Bible. But anyway, he turned to everybody and said, you without sin. Cast the first stone. After he drew every sin that everybody had in front of him. Right? So you cast the stone. If you without sin, you're so pure that you think this woman is sinful. You know what I mean? And that's a lesson to teach people, right? That if you look back at your past and then the problems you have with your children or getting next to your children, people seeing you, they're not seeing you as you are now or the transformation you became. They're seeing how you was, you know, and they hold that against you. Maybe rightfully so and wrongfully so. Maybe to keep you in line. But to call somebody a hypocrite, I mean, that's just like, I mean, wow, you know, look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Look in the mirror.
Okay, let me ask you, Ibrahim, let me ask you a question, brother. I'll stop your time. You only got 22 seconds left anyway, but I'll stop your time because I want to give you all your time. But you say call somebody a hypocrite and judgmental. And listening to your statement, brother, you know, there was some judgmental, there was some judging, even the statement that you just gave, brother. But you're speaking against people being judgmental, but you're being judgmental in your statement. And I'm trying to figure out how does that go together?
Well, hey, that's just the way we identify life. But you know, hypocrite. You know, you call somebody a hypocrite for a certain thing, and you're identifying yourself. Some things we hate most in ourselves, things we see in other people.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So are you in a roundabout way? Are you in a roundabout way, sir? Ibrahim, let me say Ibrahim. Are you in a roundabout way, brother, saying that you two are a hypocrite? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know what. So what are you hearing?
Okay.
What are you hearing?
Okay. I heard you saying in a roundabout way, brother, that you know you say a hypocrite gonna be a hypocrite, and that's what they do, but that's what you just did. So are you in a roundabout way? Very simple question, brother. Are you in a roundabout way saying that you two are a hypocrite because you just did the very thing you became in that statement that you just made? You became the very thing that you say you hate in that statement.
So what am I being hypocritical? I mean, explain that to me.
Okay, I can't, brother. You know, we got too many people on here. Me and you'll have a conversation. If you want to call me after the broadcast,
you make accusations.
Yeah, call. No, brother, I'm just making accusation. I'm not making accusation, brother. I'm speaking on what you said. You said I didn't say that, brother. Brother, you're not gonna talk over me. Brother, you're not gonna talk over me. Let's establish that fact. You're not gonna talk over me. But my thing is okay, but you still talk. You know what? I got that's why I got the beauty of this mute button, brother. Hold right there. Stay where you at. Rico, you wanted to say something, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I sort of knew that was going to end up coming. You know, that's the way some people felt about a certain topic comment made about Martin Luther King. Yeah. But see, that's what happens when you love people and you idol worship, and sometimes we don't like to hold our celebrities accountable. But see, this is the same man that flip-flops. 1 minute he want to march for Black Lives Matter, and then the next minute he want to open a trap museum.
Mm-hmm.
He want Young Thug. Listen, I said Young Thug. We know what he locked up for. Rico. He all on the TV show. That's who he bring around the children. It's the environment. It's the inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the man. I wish he was legit. I wish he could stay consistent. But I can't support nobody that's at the forefront of our movement, sometimes being the biggest voice, then come back and open up a trap museum. And guess what? He done spoiled his son and named him king and gave him all this privilege and for the money, put his family on TV, cherished and adored this boy, and then still wanted him to still be true to the streets and put him in public school. Now he got to deal with little boys that might be a little jealous. Some of them gonna be his friends, some of them gonna be his friends that backstab him, and some of them can't wait to whoop him and videotape it like they have done. So guess what he got to do? Because his daddy a gangster, and this is his daddy has promoted and made good money off of and taken care of them and provided everything they needed. Guess what his son want to do? He want to prove that he can hang in these same streets the way his daddy did, like father, like son. See, but we love celebrities. So you can't tell the truth sometimes without people getting offended, like they did about what you said about Martin Luther King. But see, I ain't no idol worship. I don't ride jocks. I don't care if you're a celebrity. I still look at your complete character and your complete work. Now, people, they have done things in the past, but somewhere you got to find a consistency with somebody, especially when they got a platform to influence people. And they got a platform to use this witchcraft and this spell caster called music and entertainment to become somebody that people listen to and take their word as advice, as something to live by. You know, like T.I. said, oh, you hear that all the time. Look, he just spoke of the fact of what this man did in the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's very influential. He bought them homes and this and that before he made the trap museum. But guess what the trap museum glorifies? Guess what it pays homage to?
But see, my thing is
that don't seem like that equal out to me, or it should balance. To me, it seems like total opposite of the poles.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. Glorify, pay homage to the trap.
Okay, let me say this though, Rico. I'm listening to everything you're saying, and what you're saying. There's a lot of validity in what you're saying, but at the same time, I can't take that right there. I can't take that and say that this man is wrong for providing and trying to make the best thing that he could do for his son.
Never said he was wrong for providing. I'm just saying for the message that he's glorifying.
Mm-hmm.
His son got to live up to that. The streets making him live up to that code. And he wants his children to be able to survive, even though they ain't got to.
But don't the child still have a choice? The child have to make a choice, though, Rico, whether he's going to fall into that or not.
If you don't ever teach them responsibility and you spoil them and give them everything they want, but you don't teach them responsibility, then if you don't teach them responsibility responsibly, then they're going to show out later on.
Okay.
Even though you provided all these final things.
I can
there
agree
ain't
with
nothing
that.
wrong for him providing with his child. But what message come behind that? What consistency come behind that?
I could go
and
with
on
that.
top of that, what did they teach him as a young man?
Okay, got to move on, but I can definitely agree with you when you say teaching responsibility responsibly. I can get with that without a shadow of a doubt, definitely. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing, young lady?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. We talking about the situation that happened with King on T.I.'s son, and T.I. said he's done everything. I played a clip on over. You saw the clip. He said he's done everything he could do to make sure and try to teach his son to do the right thing. But now he's out of control. He's gonna end up going to prison. He said he had a conversation with him. He said he's had a talk with him. He's whooped him. He's spanked him. He's punished him. He's done all the things he could do. But now King had to make his own decisions. And he's going to prison. He said, man, you're going to prison. That's just what it is. So, T.I. aside, responsibility of a parent. How does that fall? Because we could teach them, we could pour everything that we want to pour into them, but the children have to make a decision whether they're going to do the right thing or do the wrong thing. And when they get out there in the street store, you know how them streets could be sometimes. What do they do?
Well, first of all, you can't tell your child one thing and do another. So you beating your child. You put out a message that this is how black men are. This is what you represent as black men.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you at home, you want to beat me for doing what you said? Like, no. That's a lot of the issues with. I can only speak about my community, so don't get offended because we're talking about black community because that's where I come from. That's where we fall at. You can't tell your child not to be a hoe when you hoeing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell your child not to be a pimp when you pimping.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell your kid not to be a drug addict and you're doing drugs. It just don't go like that. And then to turn around and beat them for it makes it even worse. Because this is the code. This is what you was willing to do. You know, something tickled me. I was watching this clip yesterday. And we talk about how it's okay for T.I. to go out here and promote selling drugs. And you know, in the real life, they sell drugs too, right? Behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know that's some, okay then. So you're doing it. This is what you're doing to your own people, right? This is what we do. We glorify the dope boy. We glorify the rapper. We glorify the pimp playboy. But then we get mad when the pastors got the same thing because God said that they're going to get the same thing if they just preach the word. But it's okay for us to look at the entertainers and say it's okay. But the preacher better not be put in that same situation because we're going to dog the preacher out just like we dog everybody else. But you can't do that. Period. You can't be hypocritical. It don't make no difference what you are. And don't expect me as a child, because I was once a kid. I ain't got no kids, so I can only talk about I was once a kid. You can't do everything you want to do and then tell me I can't do what you do. You cannot do that. What you think, because you T.I., because you Beyonce, it works like that? No. That's not the way it goes. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, everything is not worth the money. Right? It's an issue with that. If you're cool with doing certain things and you know that it's portraying the image of black people, if we're cool with doing it for the money, then those are the consequences. Tip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. If you're walking down the street downtown Atlanta, I just use downtown Atlanta, and you go through this alley and you walk through this alley to get to where you want to get to. It's the fastest route to get there, so you go through that alley. And there's a person laid on the ground. They laid on the ground, man, and they're in a real bad way. And they look up at you and they say, "Girl, look here, I'm gonna tell you something." And you know they're alcoholic or whatever. And they look at this girl, don't ever drink. Whatever you do, please don't ever drink. Now you know they're alcoholic. The evidence of them being alcoholic is all over them. Is that not good advice?
Of course, that's good advice, but we don't follow good advice.
Mm-hmm. And see that I said that to say, you know, and what was said is you can't be a pimp and do the different things that
we talking about. Listen, you said somebody in the alley. Yes. We're talking about somebody who is around you, raising you all the time. That's a difference. That is a difference.
There is.
You know what I'm saying? So we're more capable of listening to that bum in the street than our own people. Now, oftentimes you can have somebody who's an alcoholic in your family and you not be an alcoholic. But the rule of thumb is that when it comes to raising children, when it comes to raising a family, 9 times out of 10, not only through hereditary and genetics, that it's more possible that the things that you do around those children are going to be the things that those children do. Children don't listen to our advice, they follow our lead. So this is something that they prove to us that they're not saying, oh, you saw your parent in the alley after 13 years and you walking down the street and your parent in the alley said, don't drink. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you're being raised by an alcoholic who drinks every single day. And then when you get 18, you don't have to be 18. You're going to start drinking. Everybody know that drinking underage doesn't go, but don't these kids still drink?
Exactly.
And all of they right. So all of their parents are not drinkers, for one. Some of them parents have told them not to drink, but some of them parents also took them to bars and drunk in their face for 14 years, 15 years, and drove home. So the point of the matter is, no matter what environment you're in, when you're in that environment constantly, you can't do one thing and tell kids to do another and expect that child to just up and just make the right choice. It normally doesn't happen like that.
Okay. Well, not always, but sometimes it does. I like to deal with both sides of the coin. Sometimes it does, but I definitely see your point, and your point is very valid. Let me keep this thing going. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Better get, hold on to son. Let me go. I hadn't spoken to Cassandra in a minute. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
No, back when y'all know I'm 63. Back when I was coming up, my parents and all the parents in my neighborhood had one saying that they really stuck to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do as I do as I say.
Exactly.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. I think any of us that in our 50s and 60s, we more than likely we heard that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, parents may have been doing. I didn't want to do what I saw mine doing because I saw how they acted. I didn't want to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I knew the repercussions of doing what they were doing. I didn't want that. So it can go either way. And we know what biblically what the Bible says. We should train up a child in the way that they should go.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, we did that as the best of our abilities. But my bottom line is, your child has to make up their own mind. How many times have we seen parents where they did everything that they could do? They raised their child in the right environment, got them in good schools, did everything that they could do, and that child still went out there and acted a fool. Come on now, because I got my hand up.
Yeah.
I know plenty of parents like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it comes a time that a child, whoever it is, whoever your mama is, your daddy is, you have to make a decision as to which way you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot blame your parents. I don't care what you saw, because I saw some stuff in my home coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But I chose not to go that route. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Good morning to you again, brother. What's on your heart?
Good morning. Great conversation. I want to throw a little twist in there, and I respect everything that I'm hearing. Reverend Daniel Edwards was the president of the Henry County NAACP when I was the leader of Clayton County NAACP. We realized that T.I. was a victim of entrapment over a gun situation. So we got together, put a plan together. We were there at the court room when he was about to be sentenced. And we presented through his lawyer to the judge. And T.I. was released to us to go to the schools, the detention center, and speak against gun violence. And I got to meet him for that first time in person. I'm not a celebrity worshiper. If you accuse me of loving black people, well, I'm guilty as charged because I love black people.
Yes.
But I watched this young man evolve. He's not perfect, but I wasn't there the Sunday when Tiny and him got baptized, but the brother was seeking, and he's seeking, God in his way. But I don't judge because I had to evolve. I didn't get here overnight. Now, you like the other brother said, you met me back in the day, you said, ain't nothing good gonna come out of this Negro. But God.
Yes, sir. Come on.
But God. And so I give people room to grow. And I watched him evolve. I watched his language change, even the way he speak. He got some ways to go, like I do too.
We all do.
Yeah, but I love, and then as parents, we are competing with a lot of subliminal messages. We're really competing with wickedness in high places.
Yeah.
And it's so manipulative that sometimes we can't even see it. And we ourselves are victim of it. See? One thing I love so much about the Nation of Islam, they'll go in penal institutions, whatnot, give a brother and sister knowledge and understanding, bring them out, they get cleaned up and get married and have family. I mean, we have to, as Christians, we too must be in the redemption business. And we can't redeem if we who are redeemed can't allow others to get redeemed. So we've got to be prayerful, and we've got to
be patient with each other. You know, I really sympathize with T.I., you know, because, you know, I got grandkids too, and all of them don't do what you want them to do, what you like for them to do. They have their own personality. And sometimes they question our teachings, you know, what we came upon.
Exactly.
And they say, well, that was good for you in your day, but it's a different time now.
Exactly.
Well,
Joseph, wrap
the
it
truth
up.
don't change.
I'll wrap it up, brother. Your 3 minutes is up. I want to circle back around, but don't go to where, you know, I want to come back around to you. But hold right there for a second. Let me go to Willow. Willow, what's on your heart?
Yeah, Raheem, I was listening, and everybody's making a lot of great points, you know, about parenting. I was listening to the clip, and I understood what T.I. said. You know, his son had gotten to a point where he couldn't do nothing with him, but just like Rico said, he planted a lot of seeds in his life, and he might have changed later on in his life, but it was too late because he was at a point now where the tree was so thick I can't cut it down.
Yeah.
And I believe though, as parents, even like me, I tell you guys all the time, I had my baby at 15, and I'm a PK child, a preacher's child. And just to reiterate on who was the worst kid, they always would say the preacher kids are the worst kids.
Yeah.
But that's because they always expect us to be perfect. But see, you're not perfect. It's when you're in an environment where you're learning through what you're going through. I'm at home, I'm learning my family. But if I raised my boys in a single home as a mother, trying to provide for them. So the outside system was an influence on them, as well as the videos, as well as the celebrities. So when you got celebrities out there on videos, and they got the guns and the drugs and the money, they're influencing your children, even though they have to make choices in life as a group, as a whole. They make the wrong choices sometimes, even when you're trying to bring them up right. I took my children to church. I did. My father took me. But I strayed away, then came back. My kids strayed away, but haven't got back where they need to be back yet. They make their own choices in life based on what they're being transformed through the reads and videos of their minds. So yeah, I mean, you know, we're faced with so many things out there, so many barriers out there. I don't know one perfect parent. I don't know one who has been perfect, but we've tried to teach our children the right things in life. But they're influenced by other things that take them away. And somewhat I understand it's the spiritual world. I understand more now than I have ever in my life.
Absolutely.
And that's what's on my heart right now.
Good deal. Good deal. It's a lot going on here, man. Badger, talk to me, brother. What's going on with you?
I can vibe with some of the things that's being said. Like, there's so much when it comes to being a parent, and a lot of times we have to learn new tactics or new ways to make sure that we're teaching our kids right, because we weren't taught right. So it's just one of those things of, you know, who are we going to be for those that are going to depend on us? And that's honestly how I feel. It's just, how are we going to let experiences that hurt us repeat for our children? Or should we step up and make sure that it doesn't?
I say we love to step up and make sure that it doesn't. That's what a parent does. But go ahead, bro.
I think a lot of people are capable of making sure it doesn't, or giving the proper tools to be able to help the kids if the situation ever happens. But I also know that that's easier said than done. Some find it pretty not as complicated to pull off, and others do. But that's what a community's for, if it's an actual good community.
Exactly. K with an E. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, blessed.
Hey, we talking about parenting. Now, what's on your heart?
You said we're talking about parenting?
Yes.
You know, parenting today is different. So that's what we have to, like they said, we got to learn new techniques. It's not that. We just got to we got to get out there and get involved so that we'll know what they're doing. Because when parents are not involved, they don't know what they're doing. And we can't be like, oh, not my child. Yes, your child. So those that say not my child, I don't put nothing past my children when they're not in my sight.
Yes.
Nothing go past them. They'll be like, Mama, even right now today, my grown kids be like, Mama, not me. Yes, you did. I know you. Why should I believe you? Then they'll break down and be like, well, they made me mad, or like, you're too old for that. And all my kids are grown. And I do it right now today. You can't just tell me anything. Like I told my son, boy, you getting high for something that ain't just weed. Quit coming around me. And I mean it. I hang out with too many people. And I think you need help. That's a sign of weakness to me. So I'm put you in a program somewhere. My son come around me, he ain't high, he ain't drinking, he ain't doing nothing. But we be around them certain people, this is what they do, so you do it. You ain't fitting in, you fitting out. That's all you doing. You're fitting out. You messing up your life. They don't have the life you have. You messing your life up. And they're gonna be still doing what they doing. You're messing your life up, not theirs. And it's just the kids. You could train your kid up. My brother was a pastor, and his wife didn't want him to be a pastor no more because they felt like they kids and they should be living in a glass house. I told her, I said, no, just those are the kids that do it. And it comes from you thinking, oh, not my kid because your husband's a pastor. I said, and they doing everything under the sun that you did when you was a teenager. Because we forget that we was teenagers. And we forget in our day and time what we did. It's just a new day and time, that's all. They ain't doing nothing no different than nobody else did. Hung out at a house party, tried drugs, tried liquor. These drugs are different drugs now. They ain't drinking just liquor, they crushing pills up in them.
Wow.
They're just not doing the same thing we did, the way we did it. But they still doing the same thing. And I went to house parties, I didn't drink. I didn't smoke the weed. But I had an opportunity to. Everybody do.
Exactly.
And he's an awesome father because I would do the same thing right now today. My son will tell you, he called me from jail on a cell phone. I said, boy, you call me one more time. The next day, the warden them had that phone. Because I called the jail and told him, Terrence has a phone.
Wow.
He talked about that right now today. Mom, you told on me because I wanted you to have an out day.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm still gonna go along with what Toya said, and I was glad. I like what Willa said too. See, we have to remember the seeds that are planted, and we also have to understand the consistency or the inconsistency in somebody's upbringing. It's good to hear that he got baptized, but I'm wondering if he's still making profits off that trap museum. Because if he's still glorifying that and finding that as long as it makes dollars, it makes sense, glorifying that lifestyle, his son might want to feel and gain the same street credentials and respect as his daddy did. Because, you know, in society today, that lifestyle is sort of glorified. So maybe he wants the same credentials or street credibility. Well, he said, well, we whooped him. But I can't remember him getting no whoopings on that show, and I'm pretty sure he knew better. The boy didn't act like he had been getting whoopings or acting abused. You know, he's very vocal. As you see him grow up through the years, you can see they always spoke their mind.
That's
even
right.
though they might have got away with saying things that our kids wouldn't have got away with. But for the cameras, they had to put out this image. So now, behind the scenes, that boy might have been getting whipping, but it didn't really seem like it. It seemed like he was very, you know, outspoken and, you know, had a little leeway. But it's all about the consistency still. Behind the scenes, in real life, You know, we say he's a great father because he's a celebrity. He has money. He has a platform, and he's outspoken and eloquent. But he also said, "Dope boys in the trap. Where you at? Where you at?" He is a rubber band, man, with such the biggest smile, reminiscing about them days where he gained his street credibility. Well, you know what? Sometimes sons want to be pro football players just like their dad is, or they want to be rappers or athletes or actors. So, you know, he made money. He made a very successful career doing that, promoting that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And even though his son doesn't have to, his son might not get the same respect because he might just be a little spoiled little king that was on VH1 that got a slick little mouth and got things and took trips and received material things that his friends didn't get. So now they want to whoop on him. They don't respect him like they respect T.I.
Okay. Let me stop. Let me pause your time for a second.
He like his daddy.
Let me ask you a question, Rico. I pause your time. You got 30 seconds left anyway. I only know that you're gonna be able to answer this question I'm about to ask you in 30 seconds. But is there a way or a possibility? I'm gonna use one of your examples as an example, if that's okay. Toya?
Yes, I don't know what example, but okay.
Okay. Toya said that when she was a certain stage in her life, she used to do certain things, and she realized in hindsight that it wasn't right, and she went back to her nieces and her nephews. She said, "Coach, you don't have any kids," and she told, "Look here, I know I used to do that. That was wrong. I shouldn't have done that, and I'm making sure that you don't do the same things that I used to do." That was my life at that time. At that time, it was my life. But now that I'm wiser, I can come back. I can pour something in you, and hopefully, you don't have to go down that path. Could that be the very thing that T.I. do? Because we all have a past, and we can all get on here and talk about our, and talk about our past, or try to hide or conceal our past. But we all have a past. And so my thing is this right here. Could it be a situation whereas he know that what he was doing, and I don't know what he's doing right now. I don't know T.I. personally at all. Don't know nothing. I've never talked to him. But my thing is this: could it be a situation like Toya said, that I know that what I was doing at that stage of my life was not right, so I'm going to come back and I'm going, you saw this, and now you're doing the things that I should do, and I'm going to stop you at that. No, that's not right. Don't do that. I was wrong when I did it, and now I don't want you to do it. So Rico, could that very well be a situation that's going on right now, even with T.I.?
That could be. That could be. And look, the same situation might happen with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have to say, you know what? If he turned out to be some type of big criminal and thug in society or whatever, I'm gonna have to say, well, his mama created a monster, and I dropped the ball too. I'm gonna have to address the reasons why my son act like that, even though my lack of opportunity to be in his life is part of that reason. I might have to say the reason why he liked that because I went in his life. Now you could take it for whatever reason you want to. I was there because I chose not to, because she wouldn't let me. Yeah. But that still would be the reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have to have an impact on his life, so I would still have to accept accountability, and she would too, for allowing him to turn into who he was.
Exactly. Okay.
Now he's grown and making these decisions, but somewhere you still have to teach a child to be responsible. It might, just because you can provide to them all the finer things in life, doesn't mean you taught them to be respectful or be reasonable enough to understand how life really is, especially from that platform or that pedestal that you're sitting on. I mean, you got to think about it. That boy he got to live up to a reputation.
Okay.
His daddy set the boy high, and he set it high in a lifestyle that's the same wicked lifestyle that Joseph spoke of, where he's the creator of the content.
Okay.
So he come from the source of that music,
of that
lifestyle, that person that glorified that. So imagine what he got to live up to when he get into this atmosphere where he needs or wants the same respect.
Okay, hold right there, brother. Hold right there. I got to keep this thing going. Captain, what's on your heart?
Well, I hear what everybody's saying, and I don't think we want to lose focus on T.I., his lifestyle, but I'm sure what Rico's saying, the tree is known by the fruit it bears. I think we need to look at T.I.'s son. He looked like he has some mental issues. And no matter what the situation is, Take a look at his son. There's a video of his son just getting out of jail in the tub talking about it. You know, when you listen to his son, you can say, oh, shoot, this dude got some mental issues. So T.I. is like every other parent. You know, you deal the card, you deal the hand, you deal the cards you got the hand. In other words, he's doing the best he can. I'm not going to focus on T.I. and what he could do, because Master P, as brilliant as his daughter, committed suicide. So it's because you're a celebrity, because, you know, look at my man, Reverend Ron. I know Ron House.
Yes.
You've been seeing his daughter, Angela. Angela Simmons is standing there short for being a porn. Like, what you gonna say? Did you look at Reverend Ron show and he was promoting it? No, Reverend Ron didn't promote that. Reverend Ron was promoting, man, and Ron House, a functional house. But he couldn't tell his daughter Angela what she should do. That ain't got nothing to do with Reverend Ron. So even though we can go to, well, Reverend Ron used to be Ron DMC, they proposed it away, and now the man's a reverend. He's a hip hop reverend, whether we see him legitimate or not. But look at his daughter. Look at his son. So we can't sit there and talk about the celebrities and what they just like us, man. They ain't got no doggone handbook on how to raise a child. They doing the best to keep their career relevant so they can eat. T.I. and his wife have to keep their career relevant so they can eat. So when you look at these life reality shows, yeah, they ain't really reality. They're not really reality. They're going to give you the image that you want in order to be relevant on that show. So he's fighting it. And I like what T.I. is trying to do. You know, he's not perfect. He's trying to come to God. He's no more different than most Christians who's trying to do what's right. And as he's trying to do what's right, he's struggling. He ain't 1,000%. But I've seen him. He did a daggone song. He did a song with my man Charlie Wilson. Man, that song was awesome. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that song. Go listen to it. I'm blessed. So we got to give the man a little bit credit.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Paul, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Good morning, y'all. Everybody, I heard about the last 20, 30 minutes. Spoke about raising children in today's world and all that and how hard it is. And T.I., I don't know too much about the guy. He's a rapper, I guess, drill rap. And I don't know. My thing is like kind of just piggybacking on what Captain Dennis said there about, you know the tree by the fruit it bears and all that.
Yes.
That's true to an extent, but like, you know, what if the tree is being polluted? You know, what if the gardener who's supposed to be, you know, pruning the tree and feeding the tree and taking care of the tree, you know, can't, because they have all these other things they have to attend to. So, you know, that's kind of like my situation in my life. When I was a teenager, I got wrapped up with, you know, bad people and drugs, stuff like that. And my sister did as well. I got out of it pretty quickly. You know, I only stayed in that lifestyle for a couple years, but she stayed in it for decades. And she's still not completely out of it. So, you know, it's like I said in the chat, can you imagine being a parent of a young child today? Like all of these distractions that are occurring and all of the, you know, the hatred that's being promoted out there. You know, people on my block, they don't even look, they don't even acknowledge each other in a lot of cases. Like people are so suspicious of each other. And, you know, this is not a way to have a society where we're caring for each other and respecting each other. So it's hard. It's really hard. I don't know. I think we have to be patient with people because, you know, other people said we make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And when we make mistakes, we have to, you know, gently guide people on the right path.
Good deal. Good deal. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Yeah, you know, another part of this truth is that you're absolutely right. Children do have the right to make up their own choice. But when you brought them up in a life where they don't know anything different, there's no other choice. I think we forget about some of the extreme households that some of these kids come from behind closed doors. And when most people, when they make a couple of little coins, some things may get a little extreme. And I'm just going to use an example. First of all, Tiny look a little special anyway. I'm just saying, I'm going to throw that out there. And if T.I. fooling with it, you know he's special too. But now they have these children. Okay, sorry. All right. Okay. Well, two people that had these children. And let's talk about him getting arrested and then people coming to the child may potentially be wanting that same thing. You know what I'm saying? Or let's talk about because T.I. is his father, and they had a little scandal about them taking girls or something and forcing girls to have sex against their will. Okay, let's say that was the case, and this child is in his household. Again, a multitude of things can equal up to why children act out. And oftentimes it's normally some kind of abuse, whether it be emotional, verbal, physical, not necessarily to them, but just being in extreme situations. So because we don't know the inside of it, most at-risk children come from households that are, can't think of the word right now, y'all, dysfunctional. So therefore, they act out in certain ways. So what makes it different because it's T.I.? Because he got money? No. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who have money, who have extreme households, who commit behaviors and atrocities in their household that can cause their children to go into psychotic breaks, which equals out to why they act out the way they do. And that's the problem we need to be looking out for. Instead of, oh, T.I., I like him. Teachers should have been looking at that baby, looking at, hey, something's going on here. The first time, and I'm just using this as an example, if the baby is killing animals, we need to do something about it and stop running and hiding. If the baby is talking to itself because he's trying to escape, and I've seen this happen to a lot of people, the baby be talking to itself just because he's trying to escape reality because the mama and daddy are idiots. You know what I'm saying? And I see this a lot. So take away the fact that we're talking about a superstar. Let's just focus on the kid. And I know from being a child, from being an abused child, and why I acted out, that sometimes we overlook things. And not only that, when you start getting into positions of prestige, like Rico said, it can be a lot of pressure. But let's flip it. The boy don't have to be getting beat up. What if the boy's the bully? It ain't nobody stopping him. What if he's the one cutting up coke, selling it in the background? Daddy don't know, going to school doing it. And that's why the boy going to jail, because again, you gave him Jordans and cars, but you didn't give him common sense.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, sir. Good morning. We're talking about parenting. What's on your heart, sir?
Wow. Just how difficult it is. In a changing world, things have changed so radical. Young folks, they're faced with so much. I was talking to somebody about pornography. When I grew up, you find a magazine, old abandoned building sometime, and it shock you. You know, now it's access to the computer. You know, there's all these changes going on in school, and young boys facing a world where even if they're not cognizant of it, they know the world is against them. It's beat up the man kind of thing. I think about all the programs they have for women, and then I think Curtis had statistics. He pointed out one time when he talks that there's nothing out there for the boys, for the men, and they are coming from mostly from households that don't have fathers.
Yeah.
In my particular, I remember my son feeling disadvantaged because he had a father.
Wow.
And with his other peers and saying like, wow, he wish he didn't have a dad so he could live the life the way they had. But a lot of choices. Good topic, and you know, it's even when they're grown. Most of my children are all grown now, but the issues are still there. The issues of always disagreement within the family. And I sort of made a commitment with myself, right? As difficult as it's going to be, I got to step in when you're divorced and you're not again, you're not involved in never really talked about what people went through.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know my family is fractured. We speak well, we'll call, we'll talk, but there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
Takes full energy to focus on that.
Exactly. Man, we got it's a lot. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. About 15 minutes before we get out of here, man. We got so much that we need to actually cover, man. In continuous to what we got. Oh, and I got a phone call yesterday. One of our sisters, man, said she was actually running for office. And that Davis Jackson. She said she's running for Senate for the state of Georgia, and so she wanted us to make sure that I let everybody know that she said she was gonna call in today, but she's busy. I'll put it like that. She got a busy schedule, and so she said she's running for office, and so I wanted to put that out there. Like I said, I was thinking she was gonna call in today, but she didn't get a chance to, I guess. We're gonna go in this order. We're gonna go Cassandra, Willa, and then Ibrahim. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I all I can talk about, is what I was the best parent that I could be. I made mistakes, guys. I made a lot of mistakes probably with my children, but I was doing the best that I knew how to do at that time. And what my son, his decisions and what he did, it was totally his decision. I mean, all I can do is give him what I had. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah.
Past that, I couldn't do anymore. And then the choices that he made, and continued to make was totally up to him. I know that King, T.I.'s son, this kid graduated with honors. And if you're around their children, they are extremely respectful. They don't play with them. Mm-hmm. They are extremely respectful. So I believe that, yes, he has lived a lifestyle, and there are some things that mistakes that they made. But like he said, I tried to talk the same thing that any of us do. I tried to talk to him. I tried to warn him, mm-hmm. but the final decision was up to that child.
Yeah. Wow. Exactly. Willa?
Well, sometimes we might believe sometimes that we're doing the right thing, and then turn out that we made some mistakes in life that we can't change. It's like a child living in the ghetto that's never been downtown. He doesn't know the difference, and he doesn't have a balance in life. Mm-hmm. So if you raise an individual in one kind of household, and as a celebrity, I just can imagine living as a celebrity, that your household is totally different because your whole life is transparent. Mm-hmm. Everybody is trying to see what's going on. As a celebrity, you are considered to be someone of a statue, someone that might be, people feel like that you're so much better than other people, when that's not so.
No,
the only difference is that you've just gotten blessed more than I have, I'm mm-hmm. going to say. But you're a human too, just like I am. I don't care where you are. I'm not a celebrity writer, because mm-hmm. I think they're just as human as anybody. But the point is that when you do become a celebrity, your life is transparent. So at what cost, as a celebrity, do we have influence on other people? And it's a lot of influence. And they're not thinking about what they're doing is affecting a lot of young people.
Yes.
When I talk about the videos and the rappers and all those things like that, at what cost do you want to become a celebrity mm-hmm. and be that way? Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of children that don't have fathers, that are not in the right kind of household, and you're influencing them. Mm-hmm. And then you wonder why the world is in the condition that it's in. Where did they get the idea that you could fast the past?
Exactly.
Where did they get that one?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example right there of people being influenced by video.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's on my heart right here. That right there is on my heart. At what cost, mm-hmm. as a celebrity, do you want to become one without destroying the other part of the world?
But truth of the matter, a lot of times, and we stop your time. You got 42 seconds. Do we count the cost most of the time? Do we even count the cost?
Do we count the cost, meaning
Nope.
as individuals?
Yeah. Do we count the cost? You say you're putting this stuff out there and the result that it have. Do we even take the time to count the cost?
No, we don't. Because if we did, then maybe we'll put out more positive stuff, more better stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if we actually did take time and count that cost, Raheem,
yes,
this world probably be moving in a better direction.
Absolutely.
You know, that's that distraction. I always think about the word distraction. That's a distraction.
Absolutely.
It takes away from what we should really be focusing on, the root cause of why something is happening. That's how we kill it. We kill it at the root cause. Anytime you kill something, you kill it at the root.
Exactly. Ibrahim, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Hey, I wish you stopped disrespecting me.
Brother, ain't got nothing to do with disrespect, brother. See how you came out the gate, brother. Why can't you just Ibrahim? You know what?
Some people I'm gonna be running into doing things for the folks, the people, and I see where their heads at. I know who to avoid and who knows the champion. But this is a talk show about emotion. I haven't heard anything recently gonna elevate us as a people. And matter of fact, I heard everything gonna turn us against each other. But one thing I am hearing,
brother, you being so negative yourself, brother, but you so quick to criticize everybody else for doing the very thing that you do, brother. I ain't got time for that, man. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, sir?
I guess I guess mine to be emotional and sort of be personal. But the point when I began to change my life was when I stopped blaming my mother, I stopped blaming my father, I stopped blaming anyone. And I recognized the power that the Creator put inside me. He told me that if I change the way I think, if I change the way I treat people, if I change the way I talk, if I try to be a good person, and if you trust that, I'll change your life. So the point, I just thought I heard something in terms of parents being apologetic. My mother did the best she could. And even though I can understand, I look at other people going through their life and handling their kids, and we got a good little community here. When I was out earlier, Rico was walking around and he saw my light on the front room. My truck was gone. That's when I called. He called and said, "Hey, are you all right, man? Are you all right?" I said, "No, I'm at the launchpad. I'm on podcast on the phone with Raheem." But he was checking on me.
There you go.
There's another young girl in the neighborhood. She's got 3 little kids. She's in a bad situation. It ain't much I can do, but everything I can do, I do. And I know that by doing that, because I done did bad, and I watched it come back at me.
Yes, sir.
It bounces off the wall. So you get to the point you can't blame the system, anybody, that you equipped by something, a gift that the Creator put inside you, that you can change that situation if you got faith, if you believe it.
Exactly. That's good.
That's all my words.
There you go. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, I'm enjoying everything. One thing came to my mind is if everybody do something, something will get done.
Yes, sir.
But if nobody do anything, nothing will get done. So when we intervene and be a help and try to, be a mentor or just be a friend, sometimes we can redirect our young people. I've had at least 5 or 6 people that on my journey was in my life and that guided me, in ways that benefit me to this day. So never underestimate the power of your friendship and your influence.
Exactly. That's good. K with the E, what's on your heart, sis?
K with the E.
Yes.
I agree. And I think that was Toya said how she went back and told him she was like what she did.
Yes.
That's what I do. They're like, well, Mama, you did. I said, what you thought I was cute? I said, what I did wasn't cute. That's why you shouldn't do it. Because if it wasn't cute then, Just imagine what it'll be like now.
Yeah.
I said it's a different day and different time. I said we did things that we didn't go to jail for. Y'all can do these things now. Y'all going to jail, straight to jail. Lose your kids and all that.
Exactly.
Kids is watching you. I tell everybody what my mom and them did. I could not possibly do it because I was told, go do what kids do and get out of here. So I can't tell y'all what they did because we couldn't stay in the room.
Yeah. Didn't see it.
We didn't see it. So nobody could say, you grew up. I didn't grow up doing what my parents did because I can't tell you what they did. All I seen them do was go to work.
Look,
so all I knew to do was go to work.
And how many times have you heard it say, you better get out of here and get out my mouth? They say
You
that.
better not even be in here. My mama get on the phone. You better get out of here. I'm getting on the phone.
Exactly.
We already know the deal. When she get on the phone, I do my grandkids like that right now today. When I get on the phone, I just point. To throw my finger around and point. Let me get out of here because I don't know what we might be hearing and talk about. Y'all don't need to hear it.
Exactly. Rico,
talk. We do have to watch how we plan them.
Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, I always try to think about the impact or influence I have on somebody else's behavior. I look at my sons and I see them do things and I'm like, wait a minute, they didn't get that from me. Because I was trying to be as consistent as I could as the type of values and standards that I put into them. So it's a lot of things I knew not to do around them because I saw it done around me. And then I was told not to do it, and I messed around and did it anyway because I was like, well, you know what? If they're doing it, it must not be bad. They look like they're enjoying it. Look like they're having fun. Look like they're having a good time. So, I started realizing at a young age all that about consistency. But, it's sort of funny listening to this because, once again, I see how easily we could be influenced by celebrities. So let me say this. I'm going to give T.I. credit for being successful. He made it. He got the bag. He got that money. He's living a life that what we would consider the American dream. You ask, do we count the cost? No, we just count the profit. So I'm asking. Once again, he got baptized the other day, right? Him and Tiny. Is that Trap House Museum still open? What does that promote? And is it still open because it make money? Because if that is still being glorified, and you still signing petitions for people that just locked up for murders, and RICO Act, Young Thug and Rollo, people that are flat, caught red-handed guilty with over 1,000 pounds, and using your access to the President of the United States to get these men pardons.
508.
I just want to talk about. I want to know about that consistency.
Yeah,
I know how important it is. So I'm not listening. I'm not criticizing the man. I'm just speaking about what I see, and I know for a fact that his son might actually glorify the same things in that trap museum that everybody else glorifies, and he making good money off of it. Same message.
Absolutely. 508-924-3521. We got about 4 minutes before we get out here. So if you got a comment, you better call right now because we're about to get out here. We're about to close the doors for the day, but we will open them back up tomorrow. God said the same. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing. I'm just listening at this point. Everybody is making, really good, valid points.
Okay. Captain, close us out, Captain. What's on your heart?
I don't know about closing this out, but I'm most sure I want to say, Brother Rico said something. We give credit to T.I. because he's successful. I just don't see him being successful. We got to win success. If the man sitting there struggling, man, with his child and trying to get his own son back on point, and he's looking at his son's behavior that he believes in his own mind, he may have contributed to it. I'm sure T.I. kind of see himself, that's a heck of a thing to know that maybe I have contributed to this boy. He ain't gonna sit there and tell you that. But everybody knows what's in the parent. That boy, I sit there, he'd have seen me and my crazy stuff, me and my wife. And man, it's a dysfunctional family. It's not a function. He's not successful in my eyes. Like his brother is struggling like everybody. He may got a couple of dollars. But if you ain't got no piece of money, don't mean jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you see with many of these celebrities, man. They got no peace. If you're not doing what God intends for you to do, you'll never have peace. You can have the praise of the world. You can have 2 million followers. But if you ain't doing what God intends for you to do, you'll never have peace. And if God wants him to be successful, then you won't see him all up on social media, because success is not promoting. The Bible, the Holy Quran says, do no favor seeking any gain. I just believe all of our celebrities, all of our entertainers, they're not our heroes. But you got to understand, this boy is raised not by T.I., he's raised by social media. And every one of us on this line, if you say you were not influenced by peer pressure, you are absolutely a liar. Everything we did, we was young, we was influenced by peer pressure. So if you seen a certain hairstyle, man, I remember they had this hairstyle that we called a BI. Man, I got to get me that. Look stupid to my mom. What you doing? I remember we had to wear baggy jeans and combat boots with the tongue flapped out, looking all stupid with a comb and But we were just as crazy as they are today.
Yeah.
So hey, man, come on. Let us not judge. I mean, they got it. That man is no better than all of us. He just got some money, which makes it worse for him. Because his money can't change his condition.
Exactly.
Everybody has a wonderful time. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, Ryan, for getting the chance to voice my opinion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're about to get out of here for today, man. It's been a great broadcast, man. We covered a lot. This has definitely been Way Out Wednesday. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal.
Raheem, come on, Raheem.
Well, I gotta. Are you ready? I gotta ask the question. Are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word.
Well,
I'm ready, Raheem.
Well, you know what, Willa? You know what? Let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go to the throne of grace this morning. Let's go with boldness this morning and expectation. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you, first of all, for allowing us to get up this morning to commune one to another. I pray that we may do and avoid judgment and criticism. I pray that we may always try to build up each other instead of tearing each other down. I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord, and I'm asking you, oh Lord, to create in us a clean heart and renew us a righteous spirit. Father, I believe that you can do it. I trust you, Lord. And I stand on your word and your promises. Thank you so much, Lord, for what you do in our life. Lord, I'm asking you to keep us together as one, Lord. Continually to make us right in your eyesight, Lord. Continually allow the Holy Spirit, Lord, to lead us and guide us, direct us, line us up with your will.
Yes.
I thank you so much, Lord, for the power that you give us, Lord. I thank you, Lord, for what you do for us. That keep continually to guide us and keeping the Holy Spirit around our family and our children, Lord. Keep them safe in a mighty way. Father, I thank you for your word. I thank you for being an awesome Father, Lord. Being an example of what a father should be with unconditional love. Father, I thank you. I thank you for your example. I thank you, Lord. Father, I give you the honor. I give you the praise and the glory in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. And glory to God.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm gonna tell y'all what I have on today. I have one. I'm actually wearing a T-shirt today, and the T-shirt says, "My great grandfather was a slave. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My father bought the land. Now, what is my responsibility? Now, what is my responsibility? If we have all that, great grandfather being a slave, your grandfather a sharecropper on the same land. Your father bought the same land. Now, what is your responsibility? Let's talk about responsibilities. That's what it is. We have to take ownership and responsibilities of all of our actions. Because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves in a hole, in a rut, every time, every time. And I do mean every time. Rico, real quickly, what do you think the responsibility of the son is?
You said, what do I take responsibility of?
No, what do you think the responsibility of the son? The great-grandfather was a slave. The grandfather was a sharecropper. The father bought the land. Now, what is the son's responsibility? What is his responsibility?
To maintain the land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to maintain and keep the legacy going for the next generation and so on. Pass it on down. What they say, paying it forward.
Yes,
supposed
sir.
to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
In a possible, responsible way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, and can I say this too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes when we are calling out people's inconsistencies, it doesn't mean we're condemning them.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just calling out their inconsistencies and maybe their message of especially when they are very influential and have an impact on society. Addressing their inconsistencies is not condemning them or bashing them or hating them, even criticizing them. It's just calling out the inconsistency.
Calling what you see. Absolutely. Cassandra, what is the son's responsibility?
To build. To build on that lane.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Mr. Hicks, what do you say the son's responsibility is? Mr. Hicks, you there?
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologize.
No, you're fine.
Ask me that again.
I'm gonna read the whole. The great grandfather was a slave, and on that land, the grandfather was a sharecropper on that land. The father bought that same land. Now, what is the son's? What is the son's responsibility?
Oh wow, that's really. I guess if he followed a pattern, he would expand and pass it on to his son. But I guess he'd have to be critical to evaluate the environment and circumstances. Farming has changed so much from going back to granddad. I mean, I try to do whatever I can to hold the land just because so many people suffer to acquire it. Responsibility to maintain that land.
Exactly. Willa, what is the son's responsibility, Willa?
To be caretakers, to take care of all what God has given you. To be caretakers.
Wow. That's a heck of a that's a family tree. That's a heck of a family tree right there, because it started with the great grandfather all the way down to the son. That same land. Wow. I love stuff like that because it make my mind speed up a little bit. But we got to get out of here today. It's already 10:06, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK, your media group and associates, and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:06. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. I see you tomorrow. If God say the same. Can't get it right. I see you tomorrow. If God say the same. You have a great evening. Love you. Be blessed.